Hi, and welcome to class. Welcome, Franco, Yaneth, Angeli, and Fo, who's been patient here in class. So,
Hello.
what have we been talking about in our time that we've been learning English? We've been talking about places, and we know how to speak about a place. We know how to describe it, give information about it, maybe say our opinions as well. What do we feel? What was our experience about a place? And we looked at also using the time. So we can now make an appointment and speak to someone to say what time we want to see them, what time we want to book an appointment, what time is our train, is our plane leaving. So we know very clearly how to say the time. And if you remember, then we looked at the present simple. So the present simple is a way of speaking in this moment. It's being able to tell someone what is happening in your life by using action words. You know, what do you study? What do you work? What are you doing? What do you like to do in your time? What do you prefer? What do you enjoy? What do you speak? What languages do you speak? So we can use the present simple to give some true information about ourselves or other people that is true for this moment right now. So the present simple, we looked at having a subject, and then we know the verb. We know that if it's for he, she, it, we know that we must add an S, and we looked at the pronunciation, like she studies, or he gives, or he prefers. So we looked at the pronunciation with that. Now, today, we are going to talk about places and languages. So we've got a reading. We're going to do a reading together and then answer some questions about it. Okay, so let's do that. And as I said last lesson, we're also going to talk about directions. So to talk about how can we get to a place, directions, instructions. So we're going to be doing that as well. Okay, so let's start the lesson and get into it. So as I said, places and languages. So which languages do people speak around the world? We know that English is a universal language. It's the franca lingua, they say, of the world. That means that this is the language, English, which is mostly widely spoken in business, in agriculture, in politics, in science. So all around the world, they will use English to communicate with each other. It's the universal language. If you speak English, you could speak to most likely anyone in the world. So which languages do people speak around the world? We know that English is the universal language, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's the widely most spoken language. I believe it's Spanish because I know that there's a lot of population in Latin America, and we also have Spain. I think Spanish is probably one of the languages we know that people speak around the world. Um, I guess Chinese is another language, very common, very popular because we have a huge Chinese community, a huge population of Chinese. Maybe Hindu from India. We know India has a large population of people, so Hindu is a very common language. What do you think? I think they're the most popular. So remember, popular means that there's a lot of people doing it. So I think English, Spanish, Chinese, Hindu, yeah, those languages. So let's read the article and we will find out. It's going to tell us about places and languages. So I'll read first and then you can read after me to practice your pronunciation. Okay, so the title is Places and Languages. So, Fo, you're the only one. You won't have to read loud. So, places and languages. So you can repeat after me. Okay, there are over 190 countries in the world and about 7,000 languages. Over 1 billion speakers in China speak Mandarin Chinese. So Chinese is in first place compared to other languages. The language of Hindi in India is in second place. And Spanish is in third place. Spain isn't a big country, but there are over 470 million Spanish speakers in different countries around the world. 480 million speakers live in Latin America. They all speak Spanish as their first language. As a first language, English is in fourth place. About 380 million people are native English speakers. But English is a second language for over 1 billion other people. They speak English for doing business, reading the news, or studying science and medicine. In some countries, English is not the native language, but it is the official language for the government. It is also the language of education, and in many universities and schools, about 80% of the world's population speak the big four languages. And the other 20% speak 6,996 languages between them. And many countries use lots of different languages. For example, on the islands of Vanuatu in the South Pacific Ocean, there are 65 different islands, and they have 109 different languages. That's 1.5 languages for every island. Unfortunately, the world loses a language every 2 weeks. This is because lots of younger people only speak one of the big four languages, and they don't learn the languages of their parents and grandparents. For example, Charlie Muldunga lives in Australia, and he speaks English because it is the first language of the country, but his native language is Amudag. Charlie is the last speaker of this language, and when he dies, the language dies. Okay, so we had some questions. It asked us, where do most Spanish speakers live? You should have Latin America. Okay, we know Latin America is South America, Central America, and South Central, yes, except for Brazil. So all the countries that are in South and Central America, this is what we call Latin America. So Colombia, Venezuela, Argentina, Chile, Peru, Bolivia. This is Latin America. And that's the majority of the people in these countries, they speak Spanish. Where do people speak English as a first language? Sorry, do more people speak it as a first language or second? They speak it as a second language. So it means that it wasn't the first language that they learned, it was their second language. So lots and lots of people speak English more as a second language than people as a first language. And why do people use English for? We know we have a lot of reasons. They use it for business. So any type of business, reading the news, really important, reading the news, and studying science and medicine. So these three reasons are the biggest reasons why people use English. And how many languages are there in the island of Vanuatu? 109. Imagine that, 109 languages in the islands of Vanuatu. That's amazing. 109 languages in these little islands. And how many people speak Amudag? 1. You should have got that, Charlie. We read about him. He is the only person that still speaks this language. And if he doesn't speak it, then no one else will. Okay, so we're looking at now cardinal numbers. Now, cardinal numbers is the way to speak of numbers, different to when we say, I'll meet you at 5 o'clock. I have 3 brothers. It's a different way to speak. It's a way we use this way of speaking about numbers when maybe we need to compare something. Maybe there's a competition, a sporting competition. Like, for example, Argentina won the World Cup. They came first. So I didn't say they came one, but I say they came first. Or if we're talking about our birthday, so I was born on 5th July, but I say I was born on the 5th of July. So when we talk about birthdays, we put that TH to some of the numbers, or maybe we put an RD, third, or maybe there's a second. So that's how we do the birthday. Maybe it's the time of month. So for example, now we are in March, which is the 3rd month of the year. So you could see, I didn't say it's the 3 month, I said it's the 3rd month of the year. So whenever you need to compare, for example, you need to talk about if someone came first, second, or third, or if you're talking about a birthday or time of the month, then you don't say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever. You have to say first, second, third. Now I'm gonna read them to you so you know how it's pronounced. So first is for 1. So as I said, Argentina came in first in the World Cup. Second is for number 2. Third. Now all of these after up to 20, it's a third. So it's 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, and then 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th. Now, when we get back to the 1, we say 21st. It's like saying 31st, 41st, 120th. Here it changes a little. But when we get here, 22nd, 32nd, 22nd, and then here 23rd, 33rd, and 24th, 34th. So how do I know? When I go into the 2, I have to take the first is in the pink. You could see it's a st, first. Number 2 is second. So it's second. So even if it's 30-second, 40-second, 50-second, 60-second, whatever. And if it has the 3, it's a third, as I said here. Okay, so these are just some example. Today is the 2nd day of the week. Actually, it's the 3rd day because we're on Wednesday. So I would say today is the 3rd. So this is how we write it, 3rd, but it's you can go like this. It's the 3rd day of the week. It's Wednesday. It's the 3rd day of the week. June is the 6th month of the year. She, my friend Maria, is celebrating her 3rd birthday, or is celebrating her daughter's 3rd birthday. Someone can say, she is my 2nd lover. Yes, that's okay. So that's a way that we use these numbers. So again, they're called cardinal numbers, and this is when we use them. Okay, so we have a reason when we use this number, which is different to just saying 1, 2, 3, 4, like the normal counting. So if we look, number 6, so I've already done the first one for you. Number 6, 1, it should be 1st, 2nd, and you can see it says 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, and 7th. So that's the answer to the first part. And 3rd, number 2, 13th, it's going up by 10. So after 13th, 23rd, and then 33rd. So that's number 2. Number 3, it says 21st, 31st. So it's going up by 10, 41st, 51st, 61st, 71st, and the 81st. Okay, so that's going up by 10. Number 4, it says 100, 101st, 110th, 111th. The next one would be 120th, 121st. Okay, so that's the pronunciation of how we say them. Okay, so going back to languages, when we speak a first language, it's called your native language. Okay, the language that you were born speaking is called your native language. It's also called your mother tongue. Have you heard any other terms? Native language, mother tongue, it's my first language, it's my, yeah. So that's the first language you ever spoke. Now, when you learn another language, it's called your second language. So for you, maybe it's English is your second language. So the main language that a person speaks the main language that a person speaks is their first language. The language of the government is the official language. So in Australia, our government is an Australian government. So the language of the government is English because that's what the country is. As you would say in Vietnam, the government is a Vietnamese government. So it's Vietnamese. Peru, the language is Spanish there. So their government would speak Spanish. That's the official language. That means the language of the government. The language you first learn from your parents. I talked about this. It's your first language, native language, or mother tongue. And if someone speaks Spanish, you just say they're a Spanish speaker. So I'm an English speaker. Pho is a Vietnamese speaker. So you can talk about someone, oh, he's a French speaker. It's the same as saying he speaks French. He's a French speaker. And if you speak the language from when you were a child, it's your native language. Same as your first language. Angeli, are you here?
Yeah, teacher.
Okay, so Angeli, what is your first language?
My first language is Spanish.
Perfect. How many languages do you speak?
Two. I'm learning my two language.
So I speak, so we want to try and make full sentences. So I speak, at the moment, I speak two languages. And then you said, what did you say? I'm trying to, what did you say?
Uh, I speak
Two languages?
two language.
Languages? Yeah.
Languages.
Yeah.
Ma-
Okay. Is English your second language?
Yes, is my second language.
Yes, it is.
English.
Yeah. So yes, it is. Does your country have an official language?
Yes.
Which is?
Spanish.
Yes, because remember,
Spanish.
official language means the language of the government. In your country, what languages do people normally learn at school?
Normally the people learn English in school.
Yes, at school. Do you think that a lot of children are not learning, especially in Australia, and not learning the language of their parents if they're from a different country? So, for example, if you meet someone from Colombia that was born in Australia, but maybe they don't speak much Spanish, do you think some of the children, when they live in an English country, they're not learning the language of their parents?
I think the children learn the language of the parents. For example,
They should.
I yeah. For example,
Yes.
my language is Spanish,
Yes.
and for example, your father is I don't know French.
Yes.
The child learn
The
two
children.
language. Yeah, in the house.
Yeah. That's good. It should be important that both languages are spoken. Yeah. Good. Okay, so thank you for sharing that. Okay, so now we are going to be talking about places. So let's go back to talking about places and let's talk about giving directions. So if somebody wants to get to somewhere, a place, maybe they want to know where the library is, or they want to know where the bank is, or they want to know where the park is. You need to tell them how to go there. Okay, but before we do that, before we give directions, we've got some places in a city. So remember, places are like church, as I said, the library, the art gallery, the festival, the gardens, places like that. So when you go to a new place, So when you first came to Australia, what did you visit? What was one of the first things that you wanted to visit? Franco, when you first came to Australia, what was, you know, the first few places you had to visit?
I visited the Opera House and the Harbour Bridge.
The Harbour Bridge in Sydney. Good. So you went to very touristic places.
Yeah,
Yep.
I had only 2 days.
Oh, in 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. And they also have a beautiful the Blue Mountains in Sydney. Did you go there?
No yet.
Same. Not yet for me too. Yeah, it's a little bit far away.
Yeah.
So beautiful. But how did you get directions?
I used Google.
I know, yeah, Google. But imagine if we didn't have Google, or we're just in a new place, and maybe we're just walking around, we're trying to find the place, then we need to ask people how to get somewhere. So let's look at this map as an example. This is a map in a place called Atlanta in the USA. So it's a city, Atlanta in the USA. And I could see now the business district and offices. That means where all the office for businesses are. So you'll see a lot of high-rise buildings. Maybe it's for the telephone companies, maybe it's for the electricity companies, the water companies. I mean, really big businesses. So you'll see maybe iPhone have, their big business office there. That's the business district. And then around it, you'll usually start to see a shopping area. So we go buy clothes, we go buy things for our home. Yeah, we go buy electrical items like TV, whatever, shopping area. You'll usually also have a park. So we know in Adelaide, the Botanical Gardens or Rundle Park. I mean, there's lots of parks we have in our city that surround the city. But here it's called the Centennial Olympic Park. We see some other things. We usually have a university in the city, hotels, of course, people where they can stay, visitors where they can stay for the night or how many nights. Museum, maybe there's a certain type of museum. So in Adelaide, because in Australia, we're multicultural, we have a lot of people from different countries, we have the Migration Museum, where you can learn about the history of the many different people that came to Australia. We can see the world of Coca-Cola. So that's probably an interesting place that Atlanta has, maybe because that's where Coca-Cola first, world of Coca-Cola. Aquarium, so sea life. If you want to go, you can go to an aquarium, see lots of sea life, lots of car park. Sometimes car park is underground, sometimes car park above ground. Visitors center. Visitors center is a place where you go to get information about the city. And I can see that there's a library, so books, and a theater. Now, a theater is different to a cinema. A theater is where people you can watch a play, a show. So you watch like actors, performances. Or, I go to a theater maybe to see the opera, music. Okay, so it's different to a cinema. I think that's all the places I could see. Let's have a look at some expressions. That means ways of speaking when we need to ask, or maybe we need to give someone directions. Remember, we're talking about how can we get to a place? How can we go to the church or to the bus stop or to the library or to the park? Maybe I need to ask someone. Now, if I need to go somewhere, I'm going to ask. I can say to someone, for example, excuse me. So when I need to stop someone, I can say, excuse me, can you help me, please? Or I can say, may I ask you a question? And if they say yes, you say, where is the, and then the place. So for example, where is the church? Or maybe I know the name of the church. Where is Trinity Church? Or where is the library? Where is South Australia Museum? Where is the Women and Children's Hospital? Okay, so you could say where is, and then the name of the place in here. You could say I'm looking for. So you say, can you help me please? I'm looking for Trinity Church. Do you know where it is? So this needs to be two sentences, but they need to go together. I'm looking for somewhere, but then you need to say, do you know where it is? Another way you could say is, do you know how I can get there? So you could make this a question. I'm looking for the botanical gardens. How can I get there? How can I go there? How do I get to the botanical gardens? So here, do you know how I can get there? Is the same as asking this one. Now, you could also say, how can I get there? I need to get to the state library. So I need to be somewhere. I need to get there. Maybe you just want to ask them, you know, what's a good place I should visit? I'm a tourist. What's a good place I can visit? So maybe, you know, you're free. You can ask someone to tell you a good place. What's a good place I should visit? If you want, you know, what's a good restaurant I should visit? If you want to talk more about food. If you want to ask if it's close by, that means, you know, it's not too far away. So is it close by? Is it far away? Are the same questions. Or I can say, how far is it? So after they've told me a place, I can say, do you know how far it is? How far it is? Now, also, just an extra way, do you know if I can walk there or catch a taxi? Oh, same thing, Uber now. Do you know if I can catch a taxi there and Uber? Or usually people might say catch a bus. It's more common, maybe some people know because maybe you don't want to spend much money. Do you know if I can catch a bus there? Or, you know, if I can take the metro. So do you know if I can, or where I can get to the metro, where I can get to the metro? Or, you know, you can be more clear, to the train station, to the bus station. So I would be a little bit clear if it's the train station or the bus station. Or tram, the tram station. And again, is it close by? You know, they're going to tell you how to go there, but you say, is it close by? And they might tell you, yeah, it's about 10 minutes. Okay, so if I need to ask someone how to go to a place, these are some ways that I could say. Very common ways of asking. Now, if I need to give someone directions, I can say, yes, well, you go past the library. So go past means don't stop, continue after the library. So you go past the library, you know, you go across the park. Across the park means I need to go in the middle of it. okay? Or across the bridge. So I need to walk on the bridge. I need to go across the bridge from one side to another side. That's what across means. You need to go from one side to another side of the park or the bridge or, I don't know, the lake, whatever. It means from one side to the other side. Maybe you need to go through somewhere. You need to go through the park. That means you're walking inside it. Maybe you need to go through the shopping mall to get to a place maybe inside there. So, you know, go through the mall, go to level 3, cross the street. So I'm on one side. I need to walk to the other side of the street, cross the street, go straight up. Now, this is good if you know your north, east, south, west. So you go straight up. Because some people could say you go straight down. Continue on. So you could say, if you know the name of the road, yes, continue on North Terrace all the way to the end, for example. Until, so this is when you need to stop. Until means, but stop when you get to, maybe I can say the name of the road. So continue on Rundle Road until you get to the traffic lights, or until you get to the library on the corner. Then, so when I need to then say another, what you need to do, then, so you need to show that you're changing. What you gave one direction, now you want to give another direction. Then take a left, take Guja Street, take North East Terrace, whatever. You can say the name of the street. Oh, I can tell someone, yes, you need to take the bus there. It's too far. You need to take the tram. You need to take the cable car. Maybe, you know, some places they have up in the hills, the cable. Okay, so that is some ways that we ask, expressions. How do we ask someone? I want to go somewhere. Can you help me? Can you tell me how to go to this place? And how to give. Maybe we want to tell someone. Is it near here? So I'll just show you when you're asking about a place and you say, is it near here? Another way you could say, is it close by? Is it nearby? That's one word. Is it within walking distance? Is it around here? Is it far away? Okay, so you got many ways to ask if a place is close or far away. Okay, so when you want to say how far something is, you could say it's about 20 minutes away, or it's around 20, it's about 20 minutes away. So about, and then the time, 10, 20, half an hour, it's about half an hour away, or it's about 30 minutes away. Or remember, you could say it's about 15 minutes away, or it's about quarter of an hour away. That might be a little bit harder. So you can say it's about 15 minutes away. So 15 minutes is the same as saying it's about a quarter of an hour away. So lots of words when you could just say it's 15 minutes away. But if you want to learn, you know, a higher level of English, it's a quarter of an hour away. The same as 30 minutes. It's 30 minutes away, or it's half an hour away. Okay, same. Okay, it's about 20 minutes away, about 5 minutes away. Maybe it's about a few minutes away, a few minutes. That means, you know, maybe 2, 3, not 5 minutes. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's about a few minutes away. Now we talked about go straight up. So that means continue on. So go straight up Rundle Road. It just means continue on this road. The same, go straight up, continue on Rundle Road. Go across, remember, it must mean that you must go from one side to another. On the right, we need to know this. On our right, it's on the left. It's very easy to tell someone that. Go past it, and the aquarium is opposite. Okay, so we were talking about giving directions, and where we were using Adelaide, which is where we are, as an example. And the first team was Franco. So Franco, one person says, actually, I'll be the first person, and you can be the second person, Franco. Are you ready?
Okay, I am the second person.
Yes. Okay, so we're practicing a conversation. I am going to ask you to go somewhere. It looks like I'm in a tour group. So, sorry, you're the tourist. Let me switch it around. Actually, you're the first person because I want you to practice giving directions, and I'm the tourist. So you're the first character.
Okay.
So you can read it, yeah.
Hello, how are ya? Hope you're excited about our visit to the Supreme Court. Ready to go?
Hi, yes, I'm excited. But first, how do we get from Rundle Park to there?
Well, from Redmond Park, we'll walk west on Rondon Road. You'll see Adelaide Town Hall on your right until we get to King William Street. Then we'll continue along King William until we reach Victoria Square.
Victoria Square? What's that?
It's a large square with a monument in the center. It's just past the town hall. From there, we'll continue on King Williams.
Wow, King William sounds like a long street.
Yeah, it's quite long. So we'll need to keep walking until we reach the Supreme Court building. Don't worry, it's a grand building that can be missed.
Perfect. Thanks for that. And how long do you think it will take us?
It should take us around 20 minutes from here. We can also admire the architecture along the way.
Great, let's do it. Thanks for being my personal tour guide.
You're welcome. And what a great sunny day for a walk.
Yes, I love that conversation because it was very natural. The directions were correct. So yes, very good conversation. And I love that you talked about the building. You said that it's a grand building. You said you can't miss it because the building is quite big. It's grand. So you're going to see it. And I love how you said, and along the way we can admire a lot of architecture and buildings. So really nice conversation about giving directions. And yeah, perfect. And ending it very nice. So yeah, and what a beautiful day for a walk. That's a very common expression we say. So, and what a perfect day for a walk. So good. Thank you for that.
Thanks.
Okay, so that was giving directions and being able to tell someone how to get somewhere using natural expressions. And yeah, there's words like, don't worry, I'm sure I'll find it. Don't worry, I'm sure I'll get there at the end that you can say that. Okay, so what are we doing next lesson? Next lesson, we are talking about our favorite city. So we're going to describe it now. We're going to pick a place. We're going to write about it. And we're going to learn some writing rules. So we're going to make sure we know when to use capital letters. We're going to learn all the rules for capital letters. And really, yes, use a lot of adjectives, like say, why do you love this city? What places did you see there? What did you do there? Why is it your favorite city? So have a think about that until next lesson, where we do that. So see you guys, see you all next lesson. See ya, and Franco, see you then. And Jana, bye. Bye guys, see you all next lesson.